So for those of you who didn't watch our 9mm overview video a few weeks back, let's kind of understand what is grain weight and how that has the effect on your shooting. So first off, let's take the 115 and 124 grain 9mm, for example. The grain, 115 grain, refers to the weight of the projectile. So grain weight, all it means is how heavy the projectile is. Now, when we went out to go do this, we were kind of hesitant because, you know, there really isn't much of a noticeable difference between 115 and 124, and we wanted to really figure out if there was a difference. So we got some whiteboard, we put a grid on there, and we put the guns up against each other. So we tested 3 guns while we were out there. First one we did was with a Smith & Wesson M&P 2.0 5-inch. Then we did a Smith & Wesson M&P 2.0 metal frame. Then we did a Smith & Wesson M&P 2.0 compact with a full-length slide that had lightning cuts and a compensator on it. So we'd also tested it with and without the compensator to see if there was a noticeable difference. Now, the compensator we used, we found that we really didn't like, so we're not really gonna say what it was, but there was a little bit of difference that you could see from the compensated and uncompensated as you look against the whiteboard. Now, you won't see much difference on the whiteboard between the 115 and 124. It's very noticeable in the recoil impulse of the firearm. Now, there is a slight difference in feet per second. It's not very much. So our test ammo for this project that we endeavored was PMC 115, which was going at 1,098 feet per second, and PMC 124, which was going at 1,058 feet per second. So there wasn't very much of a difference, about 40 FPS. Now, as you go to shoot, you notice that there's a little bit more felt recoil in the 124, and a lot of people use that 124 for shooting competitions because it equals power factor. Now, I'm not gonna go deep diving into power factor because me, myself, don't know everything that goes into power factor. And if you do know, go ahead and comment below because we'd love to kind of break that down a little bit further in a different video. Now, like I said, the 124s got a little bit more felt recoil, but it wasn't much of a difference, and I could get the 124 grain 9mm to get back on target quicker. What we did notice a big difference was in the guns themselves. So the 5-inch Smith & Wesson M&P 2.0 was easy to get back on target with the 124. It was even easier with the steel frame. And the reason why is there's extra weight behind the gun. So a lot of that recoil is absorbed in the weight of the gun. And that's what you have to understand, that recoil and felt recoil go into a number of different factors. And the ammo is just one of those factors that go into that. Now, what we did notice that there was a little bit more felt recoil in the lightning cut slide of the M&P 2.0 compact. Now, there was also a little less grip length, so I couldn't get a really good full purchase on it, especially since we were using the 17-round mags and my pinky tended to fall onto the mag, which was kind of uncomfortable. Now, we did notice a little bit of difference with the compensator, but not much to write home about. Overall, the biggest recoil difference is when we added even a heavier grain weight. And that's when we brought in the 158 grain PPU ammo. Okay, 158 M&P 5-inch. Go. Now this is a subsonic load, which means that it's below the speed of sound. And I believe this one was going about 900 feet per second. Like we said on the other one, a little bit more push, less muzzle flip compared to the other ones. It is a very great load, and especially in the metal frame gun, it was super easy to get back on target and get really quick follow-up shots. And maybe that's what you want. If you want a really quick, easy follow-up shot and little less recoil, go with the 158 grain. If you want to just practice, 115 and 124 are really easy to practice with. Now, what we did notice is that we took it out a second time and we tested it in some PCCs. And that's where you kind of noticed a little bit more of the less recoil. So we tested it in a 5-inch Grand Power Strybog that we've had for a while. You saw the review on it, and we really did like that gun, especially with the 115 grain, but even with the 124, it ran phenomenally, and it was easy to get back on target in such a short barrel. Then we ran it in the new Springfield Victor 9mm PCC. It's a 16-inch PCC with a linear comp. And when shooting 124 and 115 out of it, the 124 just shot and got back on target way faster and was easier to run out of that. Not saying the 115 was much different, but having a 16-inch PCC, especially when you're doing some 9mm testing like this, is a really great option to have. Now, even the subsonic loads in it were phenomenal. Getting the subsonic loads to go back on target was great, especially in a PCC. Now you might ask, well, what's the big difference? What's the big deal? 115, 124, it's only a 9 grain difference. And that's what a lot of you have said in the comments. It's not a big difference. It really comes down to preference at the end of the day. Personally, I like a really good 124 grain load, especially if it's NATO spec. I love running that ammo. The guns always seem to get back on target quicker. Now, at the end of the day, like I said, it really comes down to preference on how you like it and the felt recoil and what your gun likes. Now, some guns prefer 124 grain over 115 and vice versa. And what it really comes down to is I urge you to go out and grab a box of 115 grain and 124 grain from the same manufacturer and see if you like it. At the end of the day, this is a cool, just fun thought experiment where we get to interact with you guys as our customers, as people we know, to figure out which ones you guys like better, because at the end of the day, that helps us out. Guys, I thank you for watching and being a part of this. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe, hit the little bell for notifications, and have a great rest of your day.